Thanks, Tronny.
Yeah, I don't think I'm ever gonna forget that fun fact.
I don't remember being sent to the crystal dimension as part of our last little escapades.
I don't remember any of these being playable. Do you remember any of these being playable? I'm pretty sure this is new.
I mean, the last few were playable in the sense that they were areas that we had played in.
I guess. Anyway, this is kind of weird because there's exactly one thing that the game wants us to do here, and it is not go through any of the doors. So if you try and walk up to any of the doors, she just looks at them and the camera pans over and then nothing happens. So don't try and go through the doors. Instead, you have to go and walk over to these, very specific areas, at which point, something happens? I don't know, it's all very dream logic. Anyway, if you don't have the player health bars turned on in the GUI, it might take you a minute to actually realise that this is playable. Just a fun fact. Also, this seems familiar somehow. Unrelatedly, I love how the dream sequences just fade between locations.
You know, that sounds like the talk of the sort of thing that leads you to make Jurassic Park. So, you know, definitely highly recommended sequence of events to follow.
Very, very rational. Wow. Rude. See, Leah, the problem with always doing the smug thing with repeating the same word every time you learn it means that you almost run into little problems like this. I don't know though, according to my experience of the game mechanics, what should happen when Emily calls you up and wants to meet is that you should just get instantly pulled from wherever you are to wherever she is. That's how this works, right? Oh well. We missed 2 entire treasure chests in here, and they were both actually in the first half of the dungeon, so I absolutely could have just spent a lot of time in getting them in line without really messing anything up. But, oh well, I wasn't to know that.
All that for some jelly.
Oh man, it took me, like, literally half an hour to find this room again. I'm real annoyed about that. Also, this puzzle is kind of a... like, that's a hell of a jump to have to make. Mostly because you have about 1/10 of a second in which to actually start the jump. Oh well. It's a new day, so it's time for a new round of phone calls.
Wow, spoilers.
Yes, that's exactly what we were wondering.
Oh, of course, Beowulf's one of those my immersion people.
I mean, couldn't you have recorded that? These guys just tell us to come and meet them at the fountain. We're on our way. Told you. Now, this is notionally explained as actually being, like, in-game there was a patch, rather than being tied to progression. Oh, also this is happening. You want to go on a raid?
I mean, we're playing an MMO. I'm pretty sure we're legally not allowed to not raid.
It's a fair observation. There's just a small matter of we have to complete the next area as a prerequisite. Oh well. And yes, why would we not want a party? Now, we're going to explore the north of Rookie Harbour in a later video. For the time being, we've got a new batch of quests to do, and also you might recall that the fighting instructor in the dojo told us to come back after we got the first 2 elements. So, do you want to do some training? Also, what's your tolerance for people doing Yoda speak? Is it high?
I mean, I get the feeling that whether or not it's high, you're going to get it whether you like it or not.
I mean, absolutely. So yeah, we get to do some advanced training. Why this requires us to have heat and cold, I have no idea. Absolutely nothing in any of these trials has anything to do with elements. And he insists on always wasting our time with a basic starting trial. I don't get it. Now, you might note that I pretty much did the last round in 10 seconds, but now that they asked me to do it on demand, we're gonna fuck it up. The irony is that a lot of times I took a shot and missed and actually hit it on the ricochet and actually wasted time by taking a shot again. Also, I'm not sure if there's a particular way they expect you to be doing this, but I feel like it's actually harder to hit them with rapid fire. Oh well. Here's what we're here for. We gotta make some bounce shots.
Gotta say, I'm not a big fan of the combat music playing through this.
Yeah, I don't know what else they were gonna do, really. The slightly weird thing about this section is that there's 6 targets, but the whole room is symmetrical. It's rotational symmetry, so there's really only 3 actual shots that we need to make. It's just that we gotta do each one twice. Now the same thing again, except it's kind of a dick about it. And absolutely every one of these shots is very weird, and that was a complete accident. I'm gonna try repeatedly to do that again. And, I'm pretty sure that was not at all supposed to be possible.
But it was, and that's all that matters.
Right? All of the rest of these are pretty much just... what if the obvious shot, except you start by bouncing off of a wall near you in a non-obvious way? There we go. I'm still not sure how you're actually supposed to hit that one, but yeah, who cares? And the final trick is getting a weird bounce off of the flat side of the reflectors. Why not? This is weird. He says you miss, but what he actually wants is for you to stop shooting immediately after the 10th hit.
I see.
I don't know why he doesn't restrict you to rapid fire. Also, I don't know why this doesn't reset when you miss one.
This just looks tedious. What is the point of this?
They want to be real sure that you get super proficient with this stuff. And this is the same thing as the first one again, except now it actually is like, yeah, you're definitely not supposed to rapid fire. You'll notice that technically I accomplished this on literally the very first run of the very first challenge in this series. And yet he expects me to do it again. Anyway, that was the Art of Balls.
Great, did we get anything for that?
Not yet. We will get something, but first we have to prove that we've studied the blade.
Tragic.
Or at least whatever exactly it is that we're swinging here.
That's tragic. Unfortunately, we were out having parties and having a life, so...
I mean, literally, we've been in a party for most of the game. Not a whole lot of blade mastering. Also, we're not a tri-blader. kind of a missed opportunity there. Again, he wants us to do this whole thing quickly, and I think the gimmick here is that in order to get around in time, you have to use dodges between hits, but I'm pretty sure you can just run. Anyway, this looks impossible from the outset, but these things actually all move. There isn't technically a requirement to actually get multi-hits in, it's just that you're probably not going to make it in time if you don't. Anyway, dash cancelling. We've heard about this before. The guys on the top floor actually tell us about it, but now we're going to be tested on it. I'm not actually sure if there's like a particular timing that you need to nail for it. I never seem to reliably get this to work. So I've never been a huge proponent of using dash cancelling in combat. Anyway, this is tuned so that you can't actually defeat these guys in time. Unless you cancel your combos. As demonstrated. I guess the point of this is to teach you that you can actually be a hell of a lot more efficient about combat than it's maybe apparent that you can be. Although, I don't know, the thing that it taught me is that a lot of the time you can actually make decent headway in this challenge, not by dash cancelling, but simply by not doing the fourth hit. Oh well.
I guess you technically passed that.
Mm-hmm. And just to make sure, he's actually going to force us to dash cancel, but these targets all follow us, so like, I just whiffed a bunch of attacks and it still all works. I don't know. I think it's possible that Master Sensei might not be a great teacher. Oh well. Who cares? We did the homework, and now we've got a new weapon. If you want, you can do these courses again, but I cannot stress enough that I do not want. Anyway, our new weapon, it gives us Royal Guard again, and also it's got Riposte, which allows you to do successive perfect guards. I'm not completely certain what the difference is between that and the thing where, like, if you perfect guard a rapid fire attack, it perfect guards all of the hits, but it sounds pretty useful. Oh well, that was irritating. Let's get drunk. Also, I can't tell if I love or hate the way that this guy uses human figures of speech. I'm sure I'm going to hear opinions about it one way or the other.
We integrated our drink-making process with a puzzle.
Yep.
I don't know about you, but I get the feeling that's not a very efficient brewing process. Just throwing that one out there.
I mean, I guess it's a decent way to have a soft counter on brewing too much. Oh well. Naturally, we're going to need to engage with this puzzle ourselves in order to get literally anything done. And I don't know about this one. Personally, I'm fine with this, but, well, you'll see.
Ah, so they sent you a thing that they knew you couldn't use. I don't know if I would call that a marvel of engineering, but, you know, I guess you do you.
I guess it just needs a seeker to operate it. I don't know, can all these other guys, like, use the 4 elements? Game never really goes into detail on that. It's a weird one. Anyway, I don't know, I feel like we should be able to do this as a party. I feel like it would be carnage, but probably very fun. So yeah, this starts out pretty simple. Like they said, you can cool the machine down by just hitting it with an ice block. And in the meantime, you just put the right bricks in the right ovens. What could possibly go wrong?
I have a feeling we're about to find out exactly what could go wrong.
I don't know why you would say that. Well, the first thing that can go wrong is that barriers start popping up, so it stops being a straight shot from where the bubble spawns to where the ovens are. Although 2 of them still are straight shots, but you might have to finesse it a little bit. Also, it becomes a bit harder to cool the machine down. And I say a little bit harder, but not by any stretch difficult.
It does look like a single ice shot completely clears the overheat meter.
It takes off something like I want to say a third of the meter. Anyway, our next complication is that the bubble dispenser disappears and the bubbles come out of these pipes at the side instead. And when I say the bubbles come out of the pipes, I mean the pipes will shoot bubbles at you. They come out hostile. If you do not shoot them with ice and they get too close to you, they will explode.
Great!
And then you'll lose them. So you gotta get a little rhythm going and you gotta manage all of this stuff. All of this whole thing is basically just about management of one thing or another. You have to start thinking ahead a tiny bit. You also have to try and not back yourself literally off the whole platform. That's usually an optimal tactic.
It does seem like that could lead to some difficulties.
And from there on out, it's the same thing again, just with the barrier. You'll notice that the machine has a HP meter. You lose 1 hit point every time you manage to let a request timeout. Or I think if you let the machine fully overheat, I'm not really sure what overheating actually does. Although I do know that you have to hit the machine with ice once it overheats, otherwise you will not be able to process requests. So I assume the theory is that overheating doesn't actually do anything except guarantee that you will fail requests.
That would check out.
So anyway, this whole thing is, you know, moderately chaotic, but on the whole, entirely manageable. And naturally, right after we turn this in, we're going to have to come back and brew some more, but on hard mode. Because this is, of course, CrossCode.
I think I'm gonna commit a little more to the idea that maybe investing in a drink machine that you literally cannot run by yourself is not the optimal business plan. You know, just throwing that one out there.
It works out pretty well for us, though. Oh, by the way, you know how I mentioned that this game's JavaScript underpinnings don't combine well when you're running on a GPU and you get certain screen effects combined with the ambient particle effect in Baggy-kun? It turns out that the level up animation also uses that exact screen effect, so try not to level up outside while you're here. This has been your tech tip for the day. Now back to brewing. One reason you actually might want to do this is that the stuff that you get out of it is pretty decent buff stuff. Also, you can sell it. Anyway, when you farm this stuff, it works a little bit differently to the quest. So, rather than just having to hit the exact number of requests, you instead have to basically get as high a score as you can in the allotted 2 minutes. And naturally, the game changes such that you get a higher score from having the heat being higher. Oh, and did I mention that you have to expend a resource to attempt this? I think I might have not mentioned that, so let's just... yeah. Game design. The instructions get expanded with the new details, but that's honestly very minor. I don't think the choice of drink that you make affects anything, like other than what you get out of it, but like I think the game is always roughly as difficult, no matter what you do. Anyway, this quality business sounds like you can get enormous amounts out of it, but it's like 1 or 2 extra drinks. Anyway, this is identical to how it worked before, so I'm just gonna not. Feel free to watch me almost fuck this up in high speed though, and keep an eye on that heat meter.
Well, they did say we wanted to keep it as high as we could.
But of course not too high. Anyway, that was decent. Anyway, this stuff, the actual quality of the buffs isn't amazing, but they give you some unique effects, like the Bear Brew gives you, I think, increased attack, and also gives you Iron Guard, or the Iron Stance. I forget exactly what it's called, but it makes you not get knocked back, it's real good. It's good stuff.